Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm back, and it is Sunday, August 9th, and it is 8:42 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, let's get into the news. All righty, I hope everyone is doing well this evening, and you should be, because God is still on his throne. He hasn't fallen off his throne. He is not taken by surprise by anything that he sees happening on this earth, and boy, there are a lot of things happening. But it's interesting. I think one of my favorite verses in the Bible, and I'll have to paraphrase this, but it's basically, it says that God sits in the heavens and he laughs. And why does he laugh? Because the people on earth, the people of the earth conspire against him. And he sits in the heavens and he laughs. So, yeah, that's a good reason to be encouraged. And I have to keep telling myself that God's still on the throne. He's still in control. And there you go. All right. Well, I do have some people to thank here. Coffee donors, Marjorie Joanne Talasco, thank you very much. H. Coney and Anon, thank you guys so much. It has been a little bit of slim pickings because of everyone. So many people are out of work right now, and I know that times are tough and people are using extra money to stock up. And I think that that's a very, very wise idea going into this fall for you to stock up. Remember, I told you that before the coronavirus hit, and people were saying, oh, I was fear mongering. No, it's not the COVID that I knew would be the issue. It was the fact that everybody would go out, rush out, stock up, and then things would not be available. So now is a good time if you have any extra money at all, or use coupons, buy one get one free and things like that to stock up. It doesn't take a lot of money, and I am proof positive of that. When things are on sale, I just end up getting an extra one or two to put away. And I've got, my stock kind of went down a little bit during the COVID, but I'm getting it built up again for this fall because I really believe that we will need it. So anyway, and I do want to thank you Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much. Not just these people, but all of you that subscribe to Patreon. I really appreciate that. And it's put to very good use, and it helps me to do what I do. So picked up some new Patreon subscribers. I'm not sure how to pronounce this name. Is it Honorary or Honor? I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but if you drop me a line in the comments and just let me know how to pronounce that, because I really dislike mispronouncing people's names. Marissa Webb and Keith Ziegler, and also Diane Sagan increased her pledge. So thank you so much for those 3 new subscribers. And Diane Sagan she's a longtime listener, but she increased her pledge. So thank you so much. Now, before I get into the news tonight, I'm going to be pinning this to the first comment. I wish I could play it for you, but I can't, because I would get I would get censored. So I'm going to pin this to the first comment, and I would really highly suggest everyone watch this, because it's called, It's Just a Mask, but it's so well done. It's very, very well done, and it will very much make you think. So that I wanted to mention so that you wouldn't miss that. I want you all to see it. I just am unable to play it for you on the program. So, and I also wanted to mention just quickly another housekeeping item, that those of you that have written to me or emailed me or sent me stuff, and I haven't gotten back to you, I am woefully behind, and it's because I've been spending so much time flat in bed on ice with my back. So I do apologize, but I try to get to people. Sometimes I'm very, very late, but I try to get to everyone. So, all right, well, let's start. We're ready to begin here. So here we go. We've got lots of interesting things. All right. Now, I love this, and you guys have probably seen this already because I'm a little bit late with it. It's from August 7th, so it's from 2 days ago. You've probably seen it, but I want to be sure that you've all seen it. So I am going to play this. It's only a minute and 22 seconds long, but my gosh, things like this make me love Donald Trump. I'm telling you, he is the world's best troller. And reporter tried to mask shame our president and just got bitch slapped. This is priceless. Their words, not mine. Now let's make this bigger for you tiny phone people.
Dozens of people are not following the guidelines in New Jersey, which say you should not have
It's a political activity. You're wrong in that because it's a political activity. They have exceptions, political activity, and it's also a peaceful protest. So when you have, and as you know, a number of, and to me they look like they all have, pretty much all have masks on, but you have an exclusion in the law. It says peaceful protest or political activity, right? In fact, specifically, it says exactly political activity or peaceful protest. And you could call it political activity, but I call it peaceful protest because they heard you were coming up. And they know the news is fake. They understand it better than we do. They asked whether or not they could do it. Like the question about Russia. He doesn't mention Iran was in the report. He doesn't mention, or he mentions very late that China was in the report, because that's the way they are. They're not. If the press in this country were honest, it wasn't corrupt, if it wasn't fake, our country would be so much further ahead. But we're doing things that. Thank you all very much.
That's true. And let me just check here because I don't know if I have this up all the way. I hope you were able to hear that, but basically they were complaining because there were people there kind of shoved together or whatever, and the president just said, well, it's a peaceful protest. And of course, what can they say? What can they say? There's no, nothing said to the people that are out peacefully protesting, which really is anything but peaceful. And so he just said, yeah, it's a peaceful protest. And what could they say? I just love that man. He's awesome. Anyway, you probably heard that already. So let's go into some new stuff. All right. And let's go down to this. Okay. Yeah. This is very, very strange to me. Okay. Very, very strange. Very out there. And one of those things that's going to make you go, huh? Yeah. As we work to, this is from NASA, by the way, as we work to identify and address systemic discrimination and inequality in all aspects of the scientific community, we are re-examining the use of unofficial terminology for cosmic objects, which can be not only insensitive, but actively harmful. Excuse me. Now, having said that, what do you think that they want to rename? Black holes. Black holes. Yes. Apparently it's racist. Apparently. Let's go here and now that's going way, way too far. You know why they're called black holes? Because they're black. Yeah. So now if we describe something, anything as black, is it a bad thing? I mean, black is, well, I was going to say it's a color. It's not really a color. Black is the absence of all color. And so I don't understand why, if a black hole is absent of all color, well, then it's black. Anyway, let me see here. Well, we're not going to go into this. All right. Anyway, I wanted to show you that because it's ridiculous, really ridiculous. Okay, and let's look at this. Watchdogs alarmed by changes to Postal Service under Trump's Postmaster General. Now, this is my truth out, and I'm not really sure where they stand, which side of the fence they're on. But it says government watchdogs, Democratic lawmakers, and pro-democracy advocates declared it a Friday night massacre for the U.S. Postal Service after news broke in a classic end-of-the-week dump that Louis DeJoy, a major GOP donor to President Donald Trump and the recently appointed Postmaster General, had issued a sweeping overhaul of the agency, including the ouster of top executives from key posts and the reshuffling of more than 24 other officials and operational managers. Now, why would the Democrats be upset with this, pray tell? I mean, think about it. Why would they be upset to changes to the Postmaster General and changes to the post office? Why would they be so upset about that right now? And why do you suppose President Trump made these sweeping changes right now? Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. We know that the Dems want to use the Postal Service to commit fraud, to have a fraudulent election, basically to steal the election. And what did Trump do? Well, I think he made that much less possible. That's what I think. Now, according to the Washington Post, the shakeup came as congressional Democrats called for an investigation of DeJoy and the cost-cutting measures that have slowed mail delivery and ensnared ballots in recent primary elections. 23 postal executives were reassigned or displaced, the new organizational chart shows. Analysts say the structure centralizes power around DeJoy, a former logistics executive and major ally of President Trump, and de-emphasizes decades of institutional postal knowledge. All told, 33, there's an interesting number for you, 33 staffers, including in the old postal hierarchy, either kept their jobs or were reassigned in the restructuring, with 5 more staffers joining the leadership from other roles. Already under fire for recent policy changes, the USPS, the mail carriers from within, and outside critics have denounced as a sabotage effort to undermine the Postal Service broadly, as well as disrupt efforts to carry out mail-in voting for November's election amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The moves, unveiled late Friday night, were viewed as an overt assault on democracy and a calculated opportunity to boost Republicans' long-held dream of undercutting or privatizing the government-run mail service, while also boosting their election prospects in the process. All right. Well, I think that they have established already in this article that they are false news, fake news. They are on the side of the Democrats, and they are upset, as are the Democrats, that these changes have been made to the Postal Service, especially now, because they probably had everyone in place to help with their deception. And now Donald Trump, being the stable genius that he is, has interrupted their plans. That's what I think. That's what makes sense to me. Now, if you have another view on that, I would love to hear it, because I'm not always right, but it appears to me to be kind of straightforward. They're upset because major changes were made to key players in the Postal Service, and they were probably players that were in the back pockets of the Democrats. That is why Donald Trump would go in there at this time and make these changes, and he can. He's president. He can do that legally, lawfully, and expediently, and he did. So that the Democrats are now accusing the Republicans of doing the very same thing that they were planning on doing. It's like, and I went through this when I was married. My husband was cheating on me, but he would always point to me and say, "You're cheating on me." He would tell people that. Not a shred of evidence. He would drive by where I worked, and he would, make sure that if I went to the grocery store, he'd be watching his watch to make sure that I got back when he thought I should, and so forth. Now, why did he do that? Now, was I cheating on him? Not ever. Not ever did I cheat on my husband, and I would never. That's something that I just would not do. But he was cheating on me, so he assumed I was cheating on him, right? Because we tend to assign to other people things that we are doing or whatever. So the Democrats are angry right now because, and they're accusing the Republicans of doing what they've been planning to do all along. Problem is, that's not what the Republicans are doing. You and I know that, but they're going to see it as that way because that's what's in their heart, stealing the election. That's what they want. They want to maintain power. There's so much riding on this election, so much. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. You guys all know that. But yeah. Anyway, another Friday night massacre by this administration, and this time dealing another devastating blow to our postal service, said Representative Mary Gay Scanlon, Democrat from Pennsylvania. The American people deserve answers, and we're going to keep fighting for them. Scanlon was among more than 80 congressional lawmakers who sent a letter to DeJoy earlier in the day expressing deep concerns about operational changes he has made for mail carriers that have delayed deliveries and lowered standards. It is vital. Well, so say the Democrats. So say the Democrats. It is vital to the U.S. Postal Service not reduce mail delivery times, blah, 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 which could harm rural communities, seniors, small businesses, and millions of Americans. Well, yeah, they have their list of why they're upset. But personally, I believe that it has to do with what I've just stated. That's what I believe. Now, if there is evidence to the contrary, then I will certainly look at that. So if you're out there and you're going, no, you're an idiot. That's not why they're doing that. This is why. Well, then please, by all means. I mean, don't call me an idiot because I don't like that. But, and I try not to call anybody else an idiot either. I may think it from time to time, especially when I'm playing Pelosi. But, all right. So it says, in a video posted to Twitter, Representative Peter DeFazio characterized DeJoy as a political crony of the president's and also denounced the brazen efforts now on display as a Friday night massacre scenario. These people are absolutely, I'm not even going to read this because it's garbage, and I am going to have to make a note to scratch truth out from my list of viable news sources because I'm not going to be using them again. They are highly, highly, highly biased and quite evidently in the Democrats' pocket. So there we go. And let's go on now. Let's look at this. We've got lots of stuff tonight. Lots of stuff. If I can, I'm going to try and do 2 videos. All right. Master Troll, America's Mayor Rudy Giuliani buries Biden campaign in awesome letter. The former mayor of New York and attorney for President Trump, Rudy Giuliani, trolled the Biden campaign recently in a big way. Now, this is a couple days old, but it's still fairly fresh. Rudy Giuliani sent a letter to the debate commission asking that Biden appear live in person for the debates with President Trump. In the letter, Rudy trolled the former VP. Now, let's come down here. The address America's mayor used for Biden is basement. The presumptive Democratic presidential nominee has been labeled to be hiding in his basement over the past few months. The Biden campaign has used the China virus as an excuse for their so-called phenomenal candidate to hide from the media and American public. On Thursday, Rudy Giuliani branded Black Lives Matter as a domestic terrorist group, and aren't they? And demanded to know why it hasn't received that classification. He also compared Black Lives Matter to Antifa, saying that both of them are domestic terrorist groups without any doubt. Giuliani's comments came while he was telling the program that his greatest fear is for Joe Biden to win the presidential election. And with the ongoing racial protests being supported by the left, this is no longer America, Giuliani said. This is some other country. They're literally trying to overthrow our way of life. We can't have that happen with a phony election. The American people want that. They darn well better vote for it. I don't think they will. Then when reporting on the response from the commission, the Trump team posted the following. The Trump campaign wrote, in a reply to President Trump's re-election campaign Thursday, the Commission on Presidential Debates left the door open to a revised debate schedule if Joe Biden agrees to a 4th debate or one move to an earlier date before voters begin casting ballots. The Trump campaign has agreed to the 3 existing debates, but has argued that one should be added or rescheduled to prior to September 4th, when the first ballots will be in the hands of voters in North Carolina. Millions of voters will be able to vote long before the first debate on the current schedule on September 29th, 2020. Now, it's interesting because I think that he's putting it off so late because he's really not the candidate. That's what I believe. He is kind of a stand-in. He's a stand-in for the real candidate. And I think they're going to throw that person in last minute because he hasn't even picked, unless it's happened and I've missed it, he hasn't even picked his VP yet, which is very odd this late in the game. And hasn't had any debates at all. And people are telling me that when they're out driving around, they don't see any Biden signs on any lawns or anything. And that is an indication. It's a big indication. So it's very odd what's going on with Joe Biden. Very odd. I mean, it's obvious that he is intellectually disabled at this point. He's not able to have a full conversation. I know sometimes they are editing it together to make his answers seem a little bit more viable, but he can't answer a question. I never understand what he's talking about when he's talking at all. You can't make, heads or tails of it. And so I think I can't think that there are people that intellectually challenged that can look at Biden and think he will make a good president. Really. I just can't believe that for the life of me. And what about his sexual peccadillos and everything else? That has just been skimmed over by the mainstream media. They're not even paying attention to that. And they seem to be ignoring his dementia, which I think is cruel. And I don't understand why his wife is allowing that. But I believe he's just a puppet. He's a stand-in for the real candidate who will reveal themselves at the last minute. Now, I personally think that it could be one of two people. It could be Hillary Clinton or it could be Michelle Obama. That's what I'm thinking. Or it could be a combination of the two. Hillary Clinton with Michelle Obama as the VP. I don't know. I'm just surmising, like all of you, but it would make sense. The statement concluded, "We must insist on a commitment that the two candidates will definitely appear on stage in person, whether in a television studio without an audience or elsewhere, and not through separate online transmissions where Mr. Biden could rely on notes, teleprompter, or handlers," the letter reads. And that's true. I think that he needs to be on stage somewhere. Okay, if he's worried about COVID, then have them debate in an empty studio. But I want to see him without the notes, without the teleprompter, without the handlers. I want to see him handle Donald Trump, because not too many people with all their faculties intact can take on Trump. Really. There's very few people that could actually take on Trump. Very few people in the world, really. I'm just saying. He's very good. He's quick on his feet. But Biden, not a chance. He would be eaten alive, and everyone knows that. So, anyway, let's go back now and go to the next. All right. Here we go. And Greg Gutfeld swears Biden will not be on the ballot. He'll be gone by November. Now, I happen to heartily agree with that. And it says, what do you think of Greg's theory? Well, I think it's right on because it's what I myself think. It seems evident to me that Joe Biden is not the real candidate. He doesn't behave like the real candidate. He's not even capable. Fox News' Greg Gutfeld swears that Joe Biden will not be on the ballot this November. His comments came during an episode of the popular Fox News show, The Five, when the gang was discussing Biden's latest insults against black voters. The Democrats, they are in full denial of a substantial structural flaw. Their candidate may be losing his mind. It's not even that. It's not funny. It's kind of sad because it would be okay if you could laugh about it, he said, dropping his bombshell prediction. But this guy, he's not going to be the nominee. Juan, and you know it, he's going to be gone before November. He said as the five co-hosts took a moment to process what he had just said. Biden is going to be gone, Williams asked, surprised. Gutfeld elaborated by noting that a vice presidential candidate has not been named by Biden yet because there are likely concerns that whoever that person may be could end up being the president once Biden is gone. I predict that's why they haven't selected the VP yet, he said, because you can't select the VP unless you have the P. If you select the VP, what if the VP should be P? What if you select Kamala Harris, but she should be the P, so you can't pick her for VP, he attempted to explain. That's the theory. So, yeah, and here is the video below. If it's not too long, I will play it.
And that it's not funny. It's kind of sad because, you know, it'd be okay if you could laugh about it. But this guy, he's not going to be the nominee, Juan, and you know it. He's going to be gone before November. Ain't going to happen.
Wait, you say Biden? Wait, Biden's going to be gone?
Yes, I predict that's why they haven't had the VP. They haven't selected the VP yet, because you can't select the VP until you have the P. And if you select the VP, what if the VP should be P? Like, what if you select Kamala Harris, but she should be the P? So you can't pick her for VP. Huh? That's the theory. I'm sticking to it.
Okay. All right, I hear you loud and clear.
Now, I think it's a good theory because I happen to believe that. I think it's extremely odd that he hasn't picked a VP. Extremely odd. And when asked about it, his answers are odd. So, I don't know, but that is what I think. I mean, something is going on here. They're trying to put one over on the American people, and I really do believe that. I mean, the Democrats evidently can't be trusted. They want to bring in socialism, and they want to do it in any way they can. Any way they can. They don't care if America is destroyed in the process. They don't care about that. I disagree with Greg, but only slightly. This is Wayne Dupree. I believe Biden will pick Susan Rice as his VP because the left thinks she seems experienced and presidential. Once she's picked, she will basically take over the entire campaign and become the face of the entire show. Biden will hunker down in his basement while the real presidential candidate runs everything. Now, I could see them trying to run Susan Rice as president. I could see that. Because really, if he picks her as the VP, then we know that she's not going to be VP. She won't, because he'll back out, or they'll claim that he's not well or whatever. She'll be president, and then she'll pick her VP, I guess. I don't know, but these are all things to think about. Suddenly, there will be pressers and lots of speeches and appearances on political shows and virtual town halls, the works. Biden's campaign will appear to be firing on all cylinders, and that's how the media will sell it. Joe Biden will be the nominee, but it will be with a wink and a nod, because the real candidate will be disgraced liar Susan Rice, and the media will lap it up and salivate all over her. Well, I don't think he's too far wrong there, if it is Susan Rice. So I guess time will tell, but time's getting short. It's getting short. And I really do believe that we are entering a dangerous time in American history. I really, truly believe that. We have so much stuff going on. We have Antifa and Black Lives Matter and all that going on. We have the fact that we have somebody completely incapable running as a presidential candidate. We've got the fact that President Trump said that he was going to be away for a while. We wouldn't see him for a while. And I do believe that he's not staying at the White House. I think he's in New Jersey right now. We also have the comments that some of the debris or whatever is supposed to hit Earth. And I think it's not just in September either. It's ongoing. We've got that. We've got a lot of things shaping up. We've got the whole vaccine thing that's coming up, and the fact that the military will be rolling that out. There's so much coming up, really so much coming up, and so many people have been having dreams and visions and everything of things happening this fall. So I happen to believe that. I think it's a good time to stock up on food, ammunition, anything that you need for your family to survive. They are talking about blackouts occurring, and I do believe that. I believe that there will be blackouts, or already have been on the East Coast, and it doesn't make sense because that storm was not even as strong as the one, the storm that, was it Sandy? Oh, I can't remember the name of the storm now. Somebody remind me in the comments below because I've lost the name of the storm, but you know what I mean. It wasn't severe enough to knock out that much power. So anyway, all right, let's go back now and let's look at this. Now, I don't normally do this. I really almost never do this. But I want you, okay, this isn't the one that I thought it was. Well, it is, yes, it's one of the ones, yes. Dabu, this is Dabu 777, and a great, actually, I was subscribed to them, but apparently I've been unsubscribed, so I better do that now while I'm here. But this is a great person to follow, Dabu 777, and I really hate to, it's only a minute and 44 seconds long, so I am going to play it, but I do want you to know where this comes from and give kudos where kudos is due here. Dabu 777, great person to follow on YouTube or Twitter. So let's listen to this because I missed this somehow. I don't know how, but I did. And just in case some of you missed it as well, I think this is really important. Because it says blackout, brace yourself, message banner flashed during White House live stream. So this banner was flashed during the White House live stream when he was at the Whirlpool plant, wherever, and it says blackout, brace yourself. I think this is very, very curious. So let's listen here. And I'll make it.
Dabu 7 wanted to bring some attention to a message that was flashed on the TV very quickly. And I'm going to leave a link here to the original here where Joanne Steen had picked this up. A shout out to her. And maybe I can get some of you guys' thoughts on this. And
on the very bottom, the red banner.
As well. We know that this was on the live stream of the White House. And this is the Whirlpool lady talking here. Real quick, you see the Whirlpool on her shirt. And it says it in the background as well. You can see America. Just so happens to be right there where you can see it. And it says blackout. Brace yourself. Later, you will see her point out the White House emblem. And then Trump comes up and gives a speech right here at the same podium. With the same backdrop and everything.
But without the banner. So I don't want to... I don't want to play, and there's no banner there when Trump comes up. And I don't want to play the whole thing because it's just not fair to him. But you can find him easily enough on YouTube. So Dabu 777. Well, this is interesting because that was flashed at the bottom of the screen. Brace yourself, a blackout, brace yourself. I think that's interesting. I don't know. But the other thing I thought about is whirlpool. When you think about a whirlpool, when do you see the whirlpool? When something's draining, right? You let out the water in your sink and it goes around here, whirls down. Whirlpool. When something's draining. Coincidence? I don't think so. Just something to think about. All right. Now, this is also Dabu, this is Dabu 7, and this is Twitter. So if you're following him on Twitter, it's Dabu 7. Getting reports from folks close to me that power has been going out in New York for no reason. Hashtag Long Island. This comes on the heel of the blackouts warning. Anyone else having issues? Well, I would ask that to you guys. Any of you guys having issues? I don't know how many listeners we have in the New York region or Long Island, but if you are and you have been having trouble with your electricity, let us know below so that we will know what's going on where. We can't be everywhere. And I know that generally people right now are not traveling a lot and getting to other states and so forth because of the different, requirements. So it helps to hear from people in different areas what is going on there. It helps a lot. It gives us the full picture. Okay, let's look at this. And rumors swirling. President Trump's recent actions indicate something huge is about to drop. I agree. Wholeheartedly agree that there's something up. I'm just going to skip over here right quick and make sure that everything is still recording, and it is, and all right. Every now and then, I'll record a whole show and it didn't record, and then, then I get kind of ugly, but okay, where were we now? Let's go back here. Yeah, something big is up, and I believe that. President Trump's recent actions indicate the time may be very close when the deep state and the Obama gang might finally have to face the music. On Friday, we reported that President Trump spoke to workers at a Whirlpool factory in Clyde, Ohio, to tout his efforts to restore America's manufacturing base. During the speech, Trump also spoke about his work to reform prescription drug pricing by the pharmaceutical industry, who, by the way, hates Trump. Now, that is... additionally, that is people, those people want to see Trump expired as well. Not just out of his presidency. No, they want him expired. Okay. While speaking about reducing drug prices by cutting out the middlemen, Trump dropped this line saying, "So I have a lot of enemies out there. This might be the last time you'll see me for a while." This was a very unusual and purposeful statement that he made. Here is video of President Trump's comments. Now, I've played that before, so I'm not going to play it again. But Trump, "So I have a lot of enemies out there right now. This might be the last time you see me for a while. A lot of very, very rich enemies, and they are not happy with what I am doing." I bet they're not. This might be only the beginning. According to Brian Cates, there is much more. Before the president departed on his trip to Ohio, then to travel to his Bedminster, New Jersey resort this weekend, the White House staff lined up to wish him well. When has this ever happened? Never, to my understanding. There is even a picture of the White House staff outside wishing him well. And so it says, "This picture is taken today when President Trump was boarding Marine One to travel to Ohio. I thought it was unusual that it appears that staff members were out watching him leave. I've never witnessed that before." I don't think anybody has witnessed that before. And Brian Cates responds to that and says, "You all know why Trump has now left the White House, being seen off by the entire White House staff before he traveled to Ohio, because he won't be back for a while to go to his resort in Bedminster, New Jersey, right?" I bet you he is someplace very safe. And if he's telling people that he's in Bedminster, New Jersey, he might not be. They might have taken him to a safe location, because I do believe that things are starting to go down. And I do think also that some of these power outages may be to assist them in their efforts so that they can get in and out with some of these arrests without being seen. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it would make sense. There are numerous reasons why the deep state and the Obama gang should be worried. And it says, this is Brian Cates. He says, "I can think of 3 things off the top of my head that Obama, Hillary, and Biden and a whole lot of the DC swamp would be frantic to keep from being exposed." And then he says up here, "Everybody focuses on Spygate, 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 or Obamagate, 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 the new name for some. The new name some have adopted for the scandal. Step back and remember the big picture. What were Obama and company so desperate to keep hidden if Trump won the election?" Yeah, there's lots of stuff. Of course, Uranium One involved numerous crimes by Obama and Hillary. this was when they sold American uranium to Russia. The billions in aid gifted to other countries is also a major scandal from the Obama years. Not much has been shared about this to date, but the Ukraine was involved. Is this why the Ukraine-related impeachment was created? And Brian Cates again says, Uranium One, the sale of 25% of U.S. uranium stocks, placing them under the direct control of Vladimir Putin and the Russians. Massive bribes paved the way to get that deal done to sell out our country. People who took that dirty money are desperate to keep it buried. 2, untold billions of dollars in U.S. aid sent to corrupt foreign governments, where the U.S. officials not only knew much of this aid was going to be stolen, they kept the money flowing in exchange for a couple $1,000,000 kicked back to them in D.C. under the table. We shared years ago that the Wiener laptop may be key. The Obama gang did all they could to cover up and discard the information on the laptop. We were never provided the information on it or its current whereabouts. And number 3, the Wiener laptop, which is reported to have had stuff on it that caused veteran New York Police Department detectives to throw up. All out of 4th, the secret side deals and bribery that went on to get the Iran deal done, as well as all the Obama White House spying on members of Congress opposed to the deal and reporters investigating the illegal activity. Yes, clearly something is about to happen. We've clearly waited a long time for it. And here he says something's about to happen. Trump needs to be in a tightly controlled environment while whatever this is goes down. A lot of people have access to the White House that will not have access to him at Bedminster. And the Optima FBI raids in Cleveland and Miami 3 days ago sent a clear signal to the president's enemies that yes, indeed, he and Barr and Rudy are going to see this through. They are really going to do it. They have not been bluffing. Of course, the Ukraine is involved in massive corruption related to the Democrats. We already know Joe Biden was involved there. Those FBI raids in Cleveland and Miami were directly linked to the Ukrainian corruption that caused at least $6 billion in U.S. taxpayer money sent to Ukraine to disappear. The 2 offices that were raided were involved in a massive amount of money laundering. It turns out that 2 of the Ukrainian oligarchs that ran Private Bank, a large bank that got $1.8 billion in U.S. aid and lost it, laundered hundreds of millions of dollars through over a dozen shell companies and then used the laundered money to purchase real estate in Cleveland. For about a year and a half, ever since Rudy Giuliani revealed he was investigating the money trail of all of this stolen U.S. aid in Ukraine, the Democrats and the DNC media roundly mocked and lampooned him. It didn't stop anything. Ukrainian oligarch at the center of Cleveland raid, described as ruthless businessman. So let's review what happened over the last 3 days. Trump's enemies got a huge tripwire tripped from 2 simultaneous FBI raids targeting the private bank's stolen money laundering trail in Cleveland and Miami. Trump travels to Cleveland, poses in front of laundering machines. Kate suggests that the, laundry machines, right? Whirlpool, draining the swamp, laundering money. Yeah. Kate suggests that the president stood in front of washing machines, symbolizing money laundering. Trump then said this while standing in front of those laundering machines in Cleveland. Here you go. And that's where he said, I have powerful enemies. You may not see me for a while. Trump then doesn't go back to the White House. Turns out the staff came out to see him off before he left for Cleveland because nobody's going to be seeing him for a while. And then he supposedly left Cleveland for his Bedminster resort in New Jersey. The assets for Ukrainian-related Optima are now to be seized. While Trump was appearing in Cleveland yesterday, this gets filed by the DOJ to seize assets private bank purchased with its laundered money in Kentucky and Texas. Woohoo! Of course, all the real estate the private bank money was used to buy in Cleveland and Miami will also end up being seized. Now you know why Trump has been carefully setting up asset forfeiture for the past 3 years. Of course. People say he's stupid? Really? Yeah, right. Okay. And understand this clearly. Up until 3 days ago, a lot of the people involved in this massive worldwide corruption were likely telling themselves Trump wouldn't dare try this. The repercussions would be far too great. He would know they would come after him in sheer desperation. And with those raids and that very first of many asset forfeiture filings by the DOJ yesterday, these people now know the truth down to the marrow of their bones. Trump is going to do it. He's really going to do it. He and Barr and Rudy are pulling the pin on this grenade. This may all finally be happening. And he says here, and now that the pin has been pulled, the Democrats, the GOP involved, the foreign leaders out there involved, and the media, they all know where that grenade is being tossed. It's in the air now, coming towards them. Do not underestimate the desperation and the sheer viciousness these people would descend into in their attempts to do whatever it takes to keep that grenade from landing in their midst and going off and completely exposing them. Trump certainly isn't. So that is a very good article, and if that does not encourage you, I don't know what will. So it's nice when we hear some encouraging news, and that most certainly is encouraging. And I happen to believe that. I happen to believe that it is going down. All right. Now, Representative Matt Gaetz says, we do not need our tech overlords telling us what's true or false. Facebook removes Trump post for first time, citing coronavirus misinformation. Facebook and Twitter are both taking action after saying a video shared by President Trump contains misinformation about the coronavirus. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm sick to death of this. I'm sick to death of having my videos censored. I'm sick to death of having my tweets censored, everything. And the problem, if I was a Democrat and I was on the other side, I'd be allowed to say whatever I wanted. Wouldn't matter. They wouldn't care. Nobody'd care. But if you are conservative and you're not going along with the narrative, you will be severely censored. Doesn't even matter if you're the president of the United States. Can you imagine? Could you just go back in the past, and could you imagine anyone doing that to any of our former presidents? Because I can't. Can you imagine somebody doing that to Obama? Oh, there would have been hell to pay. Really. All right, well, let's go on now and let's look at this. Showing President Trump's image is enough to trigger many college students, but who knew it could also get you prosecuted by a taxpayer-funded institution obligated to follow the First Amendment? Well, anything is possible now. It says student prosecuted by public university for using image of Trump in background for Zoom call, charged with cyberbullying. I mean, it's getting so far out there that I don't know. Like, nothing seems to make sense anymore. Nothing. There doesn't seem to be any justice. People are getting away with shocking crimes. Unreal. New Jersey Stockton University charged a student with disruptive behavior, discrimination, harassment, creating a hostile environment, causing harm, and cyberbullying. His violation? Using Trump's image as his Zoom background during an online class, July 1st. The Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, FIRE, is representing doctoral student Robert Daluda, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, warning the public university in a letter Friday that it has no legal authority to punish a student for sharing his political views, even if they offend his classmates. And he wasn't even sharing his political views, really. It was just the background of his Zoom. So what? He is actually the president of the United States. Hello? So why is that bullying? Since when is having a picture of the president, duly elected president of the United States, considered bullying? Fire's summary of the factual background said there's no disruption to the class or other feedback about Dahlia does, I can't pronounce that, choice of background during the class other than a private chat another classmate sent him, according to the college fix. Several classmates piled on the student for his Trump background in a post-class group chat, but the university admitted that the conversation was not threatening to anyone and that the student exited the chat to avoid continued conflict. The student wrote a Facebook post after the pile-on saying he was done with the leftist agenda of Black Lives Matter and the white self-haters, including his classmates. University police called the student to report that he had been accused of making threatening statements. A week later, he met with Director Amy Jones and Assistant Director Stacy Rose of the Care and Community Standards Office, who told him classmates were offended by his behavior. They asked him to explain his political views, Zoom background, and Facebook post. Give me a break. 6 days later, he was charged with 6 violations of the campus conduct code. 2 of the alleged violations have rather high thresholds to clear. Disruptive behavior requires obstruction or substantial disruption of university activities or operations, and hostile environment uses a 4-pronged test, all of which must be satisfied. Severe, pervasive, persistent, and objectively offensive conduct. Another multi-pronged charge, discrimination, uses and or so that any one prong counts as a violation. Yeah. In Fire's statement on the case, the student accused the university of creating a deeply embedded and systemic environment that squelches the free speech of those who disagree with their radical agenda and promotes a monopoly on ideas. As students return to the classroom this fall, and with less than 90 days until the November election, it's just a matter of time to see what snowflakes' feelings are hurt next. Now, this is absolutely ridiculous, and I hope that there is a lawyer that will represent him pro bono, because what they are doing is absolutely egregious. It is completely against that student's rights. Unbelievable. He had a Zoom background for his class. Wow. You know, like I had classes where I did online, and you would be able to, via whatever means, all get together and see everyone in the classroom, like on their computers. And his background happened to be one of President Trump, and people were offended by that. Yeah. Okay. I think people need to buck up. You know, look at the young men that fought in World War II and, you know, risked certain death on the beaches of Normandy. And then look at the little snowflakes that we have now. I call them Twinkies. That's what I call them. But I think Twinkie refers to something else. Somebody told me, but oh well. Okay. Now, Now, Martin Geddes says you don't have a right to never catch the flu or a cold. If you are vulnerable, then you have to look after your own health and adapt. You are in no position to force others to give up their own well-being and freedom so that you can avoid normal risks. Coercion is not health care. All right, I love that. I don't know about you, but I love it. Now, let's look at this, because this is important as well. Lots of important stuff tonight. Here we go. Huge update. Dr. Fauci. Oh, wow. You know what? This is from May. Well, I don't know why it showed up, but this is interesting. If we missed it before, then I'm not going to read it all, but huge update. Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx used Imperial College model, now confirmed as a complete fraud, to persuade President Trump to lock down the entire U.S. economy. And has that been corrected? No. All right. Well, since it's old news, I'm not going to get into that because we've got plenty else to get into. And this says very important, so I'm just going to go under the assumption that it is and look at it. You can come too. Here we go. Here it is. Yes, this is very important. Okay, let me hang on here. Hang on. This is 52 52 seconds long, and I think we need to view this because if you haven't seen this, it's jaw-dropping. Now, I think this is a TikTok video, so I should be okay to play it. I don't know who this, I guess the person is TikTok at It's Matthew. It's MATTW _01. So that's his TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but anyway, I saw this on Twitter and I thought I would grab it for you guys because this needs to be seen. It really, really needs to be seen. So let's.
The Simpsons predicted 2020. In 2013, this episode broadcast of Kobe Bryant in a helicopter. Now right, no big deal if you think about it at first, but it gets worse. The helicopter crash and Kobe actually died in this episode, much like he tragically did in real life earlier this year. R.I.P. to the GOAT. Next, in actually the late 1900s, so ages ago, episodes broadcast actually predicting a huge pandemic which would spread across the world, which was the coronavirus. That's insane. And it gets worse, it's not just saying the coronavirus, it actually came from China, as you can see the people coughing, much like the plague that is around now. And of course the humongous protests which were going around due to the Black Lives Matter and everything. And the police station which was burnt down in America, along with statues being pulled down across America. But it gets great because it wasn't just any old statue, it was the exact one. Like and follow for more. The Simpsons predicted 2020.
So, and that's it. That is, it's pretty alarming, isn't it? And, you know, there are so many shows that have this, I mean, The Simpsons isn't the only one. There's others. And I've played a couple of them for you, but something came to my mind. It's an old series, and I've actually ordered it on Amazon, not because I'm interested in watching it, I'm not, but apparently it kind of foreshadows everything that's happening right now. And gosh, it's an old series, and I can't even remember the name of it now, but I'm going to watch that and let you know what I find in it, because apparently it's shocking. So yeah, they always tell us what their plans are before they do it, always. So let's go back now. I'm not going to go too long past this because what are we at now? We are almost at an hour here, and come back here. All right. This is going to be the last thing that I do on this video, but I am going to come back and do another video. So stay tuned because there'll be more coming. All right. What the government doesn't tell you. What the government doesn't tell you. Socializing boosts immunity. Do you know that to stay healthy, you need so many human touches a day? You need that human contact, human touch, a hug, whatever. And if you're married, you're probably getting that, you know, snuggling or kissing your mate goodbye or hello or good morning. And if you're dating or whatever, but if you live alone, this is not good because, you know, we're kept in and we don't have anybody to socialize with except for, well, you know, I think that you guys help keep me sane. Really, you do. And, you know, I have some friends that I call and can, you know, visit in this area, but it's hard. Anyway, also, facial expressions are a key component to communication and human connection. I don't know about you, but I'm someone that always smiles at people. I love to smile at people, especially people that look like they're having a hard day. I like to compliment them on what they're wearing. You know, just, I mean, the other day I saw a lady standing outside of a store and I said, "Oh, what a pretty dress. You look beautiful today." And this woman, like, she was so taken aback, and she just, you could see that expression, that sour expression just dissolve away. And she said, "Oh, you've made my whole day." She said, "I was just thinking that I didn't look very nice." And, you know, it's so easy, but if you have a mask on, it makes it difficult to do that. And that's one of my joys in life. I love to, you know, talk to a cashier that's having a hard day, or, you know, always, if I get a really a waitress that's really ugly to me, I always leave a big, big tip. And my mother gets so angry at me. She says, she was awful. Why would you leave her that much? And I said, because she's having a hard day. And I just want to do it. And you know, I've never regretted any of that. I mean, it's part of being human, and not being able to smile at people and see them smile back. And, you know, it's hard. I mean, you really can tell somebody is smiling by their eyes, but still, it takes a lot when you're wearing a mask. And it's hard to even want to communicate, because I have a hard time hearing when somebody's wearing a mask. Now, I don't know if my hearing is starting to go. I hope not, but I really have a hard time hearing. So the heart's electrical biofield reaches out 6 feet. Bacteria are our immune system. Viruses are part of a detoxing mechanism and are not the cause of disease. Now, I didn't know that. Maybe some of you in healthcare can chime in on that. But I was not aware of that. So, all right. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end it there for this video, but I'm going to come right back and I'm going to do another one. I've got quite a bit of stuff tonight, and I do want to get that out to you guys. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you guys more than I can possibly ever convey. And I appreciate all you do. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your prayers. And you guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe and keep seeking truth. Good night, guys.